conflict, politics, military-industrial complex, technology, war. The Flash Traffic Podcast.
Roll.
We're rolling. War Weave Friday. Got a comment that I shouldn't do the Trump voice. I've gotten conflicting comments. Some people believe I should do the Trump voice.
Who said you should? Who said you shouldn't do it?
Random listeners, and
Why?
others say I should. That it's getting better.
Well, why? Why? So, what was? Did they give a reason why they said you shouldn't do it?
Of course not.
Oh,
because it's too good. Maybe it's too lifelike, and I might be impersonating the
I think
president
you
too
should
closely
keep rolling
for
with
national
it.
security.
I think it provides credibility and realism to the podcast.
It's War Weave Friday. China. So we're gonna say whatever we want. War Weave. It's gonna be really good. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep working.
I think that's credible. I think you do a critical representation.
Thank you. Announcements for War Weave Friday. I have a couple of announcements. First of all, the Flash Traffic Podcast is now on video. We are now live, pretty much live on video, because I don't do any edits because I don't know how to edit the video. So we don't do any edits, and it's virtually live. And we are on video. So you can see our beautiful mugs as we do the podcast. And I will also try to do some screenshots of videos and news articles. And I'll probably fuck that up as well. Because I have no idea what I'm doing with that either.
So you're honest. You're honest to the listeners. That's good. Yes.
And you can see our T-shirts that we're wearing. Eric is sporting a Modern Warfare T-shirt, and I am sporting a T-shirt that says "Fuck communism," as if you need any more advice on communism. And now
the Trump administration might need that advice, but we'll get into that in a couple of minutes.
It's a tremendous form of government. Communism. I found it very useful for building hotels in communist countries. I loved going to Vietnam. It's still communist. It's one of the great communist countries still left. Nam, as they used to call it when I was dodging the draft.
Trump dodged the hell out of the draft.
He wasn't I don't think he had to do shit. He didn't have to do anything. You know, like some people dodge a draft by going to Canada. Some people dodge the draft by having flat feet or shooting themselves in the testicles. You know, that dude didn't have to do anything. His daddy was rich. He was never going to Vietnam, ever.
Yeah, right. Trump and among other people are part of the 1% oligarchy of the U.S. society who buys their way out of everything. They're not an average dude. The average dude gets drafted and goes to like the 101st and A Shau Valley in Vietnam and gets their dick blown off. That's what the average dude gets. There's no getting around it. It's national service. To me, I find it odd, because I signed up when I was 17. I couldn't wait to sign up and do my part and do public service and do selfless service. I don't know why anyone had a problem with that. But Trump and the Trump family is part of the 1% oligarchy class who buys their way out of public service and doing the hard shit. And then they chicken hawk this shit as a fake patriot down the road about how pro-military they are. But your lazy ass never put on a uniform. You never put in the work. You never risked your ass. You would never even imagine getting your ass shot off as a door gunner in a Huey, in the early 70s. Anyways, but he's representative of this country. And a certain part of this country doesn't want to do shit, doesn't want to contribute, don't want to do the hard stuff. They just buy their way out of it.
Yeah. System of Down said, why do they always send the poor to sit on their helmets so they don't get their balls shot off in the Huey?
Correct.
Interesting to note that I believe that when you were 17, we were still in the height of the Cold War.
I had to register. I mean, I think you still do. I had to register for, was it selective service?
Yeah, I think
When
all males in America still have to do that.
Yeah, and I remember getting like letters or whatever, in the mail from the disconnected bureaucracy. You need to sign up for selective service. Like, dude, I'm already in. Like, I'm already serving, and I've been in for like 3 or 4 years. I think you have to register by the time you're 25. I don't know what I'm talking
18,
about right now.
18, right?
By 18, you have to.
Yeah. When you turn 18, you have to register for selective service.
I'm already in, dude. But okay.
How else would they send the poor? I mean, how else are they going to send the poor?
Cannon fodder.
Yeah, exactly.
Buy your way out.
We have
in America, you can buy your way out. Yeah.
It's War Week Friday, and we have some announcements. And also, sorry, forgot where I was going with that. One more announcement.
Matter. It's Friday. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It's War Week Friday. Who cares? One more announcement that Monday's podcast on the Flash Traffic podcast is an interview that I did a couple of days ago with author Candace Rondeau, who wrote the book Putin's Sledgehammer. And it is a great book about Wagner and the Wagner Revolt and the history of Wagner since around 2014 on. It's a good interview. You're probably going to want to watch it. I've been told it's the best interview on podcasting.
That's a nice title, too.
You got to watch it.
Do the listeners get that? Do they get the context?
Putin's Sledgehammer. I think most people that are vaguely familiar with Wagner might get the sledgehammer reference. It's their calling card. It's their icon, I guess, what they use to instill discipline and fear.
Like so supposedly they have like a sledgehammer that they use and as a symbol, unit symbol, all that kind of stuff. And supposedly, like, if you don't follow their protocol or you're a coward or you retreat, they kill you with a sledgehammer. Like, they beat you in the head with a sledgehammer and they beat you to death with it. But anyway, right. So it's interesting. Like, Putin's sledgehammer, like, yeah, kind of. Actually, they are or were.
Yeah. The book is interesting. I thought the interview with Candace was interesting. What I did not know was the level of ubiquity, I guess, that the Wagner
that's a big word
group has. It was up until the revolt. It was pretty much everywhere that Russia wanted to instill soft power and hard power, but
they corrupted elections, right? They were in Africa, partnering with dictatorships, extracting their gold, their natural resources. That's the deal they cut. You support the dictatorship, they got a valuable mineral like a gold, then Wagner exports the gold, brings it out on official military planes, pays off Putin, pays off the oligarchs, pays off whoever they got to pay off, keep the money train rolling. And then they do election rigging in Africa and other places where they, do fake polling, propaganda. It's on the internet, social media. It's a whole shtick to promote Russian power.
Yes, it is interesting, the whole dynamic of using a private military company to, forward your political goals. I thought it was interesting. So that's Monday. That'll be Monday on Memorial Day.
She's a journalist?
She works, she's a think tanker. So she's works
smart,
at
big brain. Got a big brain.
At New America. She's a fellow at New America. And she works Russian issues. Obviously.
They have a political leading? Or are they not? Are they nonpartisan?
New America is centrist with just a slight leftist lean. Just a smidge of the left. In the last year or so, it's probably a lot more than just a smidge. But yeah, it's supposed to be centrist with a touch of the left. Okay, let's go. Are you ready for this?
I don't know. I'm sitting down.
Viewers' comments. Every Friday, we're gonna do comments. Okay, we will start with a comment from listener Ty, who says, "You guys are fun. Oh, thanks, Ty. The glaring lack of Air Force knowledge is painful, but somehow you guys come to the correct conclusion. : We should be in the last decade of pilots in the cockpit.
Oh, Air Force isn't going to like that comment.
Yeah, I guess. He goes on. Tony, when you renew Eric's contract, ban his voice and limit him to 5 bros per session. I think
That's
you
useful
have
commentary.
to do bro.
That's useful commentary by him.
It is actually a useful comment. I think definitely the door thing annoys the shit out of me.
Oh, kind of like your fake Trump talk, dude. That's like fingernails on a fucking chalkboard.
Exactly like that. Exactly like the Trump thing. But limit him to 5 bros per session. I don't know. I think that's the minimum. I think it's the minimum number of bros per episode.
So that's the Big Lebowski effect. I'm going to assume some people haven't seen the Big Lebowski, and that's a lick on you, because that's probably top 5 movie ever in the world, and probably all the life skills you need you can get from watching the Big Lebowski. I believe every 4th word in that movie is dude or fuck. Statistically, you mathematically count all the words, divide it, count up dude or fuck. Every 4th word is dude or fuck. A large reason why that was such a successful movie. Just throwing it out there to your consumption.
Just say dude and fuck.
It worked for them. It's a well-received movie, profitable.
Speaking of which, a video just came out yesterday. John Goodman, who stars in The Big Lebowski along with Jeff Bridges.
Oh, he was very good in that.
John Goodman got an award, and Jeff Bridges spoke at the ceremony, and Jeff Bridges pulled out the Lebowski sweater.
Oh, nice.
And wore it. And I will try to find the video, and I'll put it in the show notes, because I'm sure a lot of people are interested in it.
Guys, if you hadn't seen the movie, you got to watch it. Like John Goodman plays this whacked out Vietnam vet who's got like PTSD and like loses his shit every 5 minutes. Like you gotta see it.
Any movie where John Goodman loses his shit is a good movie, because he does such a good just an angry person.
Oh, he's angry, dude.
He's perfected angry.
Movie. Dude, what about who's that horribly ugly dude?
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, you're right. From Fargo or whatever. I love him. He's great. Like throughout the movie, if you haven't seen it, like every other sentence, his name's Donnie in the movie. No matter what he says, John Goodman, he's like, shut the fuck up, Donnie. Like every other sentence is just tell him to shut the fuck up.
If you need to calm down,
awesome.
If you need to calm down, do not watch The Big Lebowski.
It is incredibly funny, represents many people's lives. Anyways, you got to see it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it too, which is
what a slimy,
amazing.
Yeah, right. It was good. Everyone nails the roles.
Everyone. I'll try to find that video. It just came out yesterday. I just saw it on Twitter yesterday.
Fuck every 4 words.
Dude, fuck. We'll do fuck and bra. Okay, more listener / we have to say
that was
viewers
a very helpful
now.
comment. That's a helpful comment.
Ty.
I'm glad he sent that in there. Yeah, we didn't know shit about the Air Force. I was in the Army, dude.
No.
What's the Air Force doing counterinsurgency? Like, literally nothing.
I know nothing about the Air Force, and I was basically in the Air Force as a space operations officer.
Right, you're a Space Force, which commands the Air Force.
No.
You were in charge of the Air Force.
Not Space Force. Space.
Oh, my bad.
Operations. It's completely different. I don't want to go into the distinction. More viewer / listener comments. We have to start saying viewer now because...
Dude, I like Ty. I like how he exposed our ignorance. That's important.
I don't think we need anyone to expose our ignorance.
No, I don't think we do.
I don't think we've ever tried to hide our ignorance.
Never,
on any
not
of
even
these
once.
Things. Okay, Let's see.
Never even once.
Okay, here's another good comment. From Crombier. I have no idea if I'm
French?
pronouncing that. I have no idea.
It's French.
Great rapport between the hosts. Interesting hot takes and insights into the tactical levels of the Ukraine war. Made me laugh. Maybe use a little less of the funny voices. Okay. There you go.
Dude, what do you want? Dude, what do you want? Some straight show? You just want a bunch of two nerds just reading the newspaper. I did a fake voice again. Oh, the dude's going to fry me up for that.
This almost sounds like ChatGPT wrote it, except for the little funny voices. But I appreciate the comments. I do appreciate the comments.
He said he thought ChatGPT wrote this?
No. I said that.
You said. I was going to say, I don't think we're that good. No. We're not as good as AI. What, are you kidding me?
No. Wrote the comment, not the episodes.
Gotcha.
The episodes would be way more put together and less chaotic.
This guy actually wants a straight podcast.
Well,
straight
he doesn't want the voices. He doesn't want the voices.
He doesn't like the voices in the podcast.
There we go. Oh, see, you do as many. I forgot. No, you can't say dur. I forgot that you do voices, but you only do one voice. You do that voice. You do that one.
I do like the dumb fuck voice.
Like Mr. Poopy Smear.
I think you're going to like it. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's just right.
Who's that? Is that supposed to be Trump?
That's you doing Trump.
That's me doing Trump? Okay, I do got the hands. I don't know. You got to go up and down. Lost your audio.
So just to show we're real people, that was my 15-year-old son trying to ask me something. I'm like, is it an emergency? Like,
gotcha.
Got like a couple million people listening. I'm like,
that's right. But hey, family first. You got to take care of that. One last listener / viewer comment.
This dude better light us up. I'm tired of this softball, sugar-coated bullshit.
This is a good one.
This better be real.
This is from Daknak.
Dude, that's made up.
No, look, I don't make this up.
It's a Russian bot.
It is from Russia, probably. Daknak. And the title of his comment is, "This is bad!" !
Oh, you just figuring that out, bro?
Two guys talking out of their butts trying to create a bro effect.
What, you telling me we're not?
We're not trying. We're not trying. Okay. What irritates me the most was them talking about subjects where they don't have their facts straight. He doesn't give an example. That was it. He doesn't give an example. We don't know everything, and we don't know most things. So we try. I think we try to caveat everything with, "Hey, we don't know this."
Yeah, I appreciate that Russian bot's input. Yeah, we can do better. We can do
thank
smarter.
You, Russian bots.
Yeah. I mean, that's straight out of St. Petersburg. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
Let me know when you spent a couple decades in the military.
Whoa. You can't.
Yeah, I'm going there. Yeah, and did hardship, bro. You let me know. You get back to me when you did that and tell me how your podcast sounds like.
You can't be harsh on the comments because then
I appreciate it.
Nobody will put in the funny comments then. Then we're not going to have the bad comments. This is bad. I like it.
You know how these are bots doing this? Because there's no profanity. Real people use profanity. There's no profanity.
Let's rewrite this in less bot speak and less ChatGPT. These two assholes think they're Joe Rogan. What pisses me off is they don't know shit. How about that?
Is this a real comment or is this your fake chat comment?
No, I just rewrote it on the fly.
Oh, okay, got it.
I just rewrote his comment.
I thought that actually sounded like a true viewer response. You do try to look like a Joe Rogan knockoff, so I get that.
I don't try to. Why? Because I don't have hair?
You shave your head, bro.
Yeah, but not much. I mean, not much. I mean, I don't really have any hair. Really? Like... just on I shaved the sides.
You're a better Joe Rogan body double than a lot of those Putin body doubles that we've seen.
Do you think I could stand in for Joe Rogan when he does like grocery store
Easily.
openings,
Easily.
and when he tries to sell Tesla cars.
Easily.
Oh, thanks. I'll send something to Tesla and Joe Rogan and see if I can.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on with the podcast. What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about Trump's phone call? We mentioned it slightly.
Yeah, let's start with that. It's good, probably good fodder for as good as anything else.
And this happened earlier in the week. So we had two interview episodes, Monday and Wednesday. So this is the first time we're getting to address this. Trump called Putin, then he called the European leaders, including Zelensky. And basically he said, look, this is on you guys now. I'm out of here. Good luck. Godspeed to you. So it looks like Trump is just going to back off because it's too hard. Just what we said. We said this in January, right? This is too hard. They're not going to have a peace negotiation. And Trump is now just figuring that out. I said that this would fall through by the end of March, but I didn't account for Trump being slow to recognize the bullshit that Putin is trying to lay down right now. Drag his feet.
You know, Trump saying that is like someone saying like water is wet. Like, okay, Putin's not serious about negotiations. Wow.
Well, if Trump is backing off, he's not going to be involved in these negotiations. Now they're talking about having the negotiations between Zelensky and Putin at the Vatican. And then Sergei Lavrov came out and said, oh, we can't do it in the Vatican because both countries are Orthodox Christian. So they're just dragging their feet. They're just they're just dragging their feet.
Made up nonsense.
This is the end of the negotiations, if this is true.
Well, for now. I mean, this is a game that's going to get played over many months, many years, maybe. This is just round one.
Yeah. So I think the negotiations are pretty much over for a while. And then we'll be back to business. We'll have the summer, the spring, summer fighting season until the ground starts getting wet again in November.
Now, do we want to go into any of the tactical stuff on the ground right now? Even an overview?
Yeah, we will. Let me talk about Little Marco first, and then we'll go to the tactical stuff. So Little Marco was in the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee hearing this week. And I'm going to read what Senator Shaheen said. So she said, she's a Democrat from New Hampshire, quote, Putin is playing for time and he's playing this president like a fiddle, end quote.
Accurate statement. Very accurate statement.
She's the top Democrat on the committee.
Very accurate statement.
She goes on, quote, the longer he plays it, the more opportunity he has to gain territory in Ukraine, and the harder it's going to be to get him to the table, end quote. So she's assuming or analyzing and stating that Russia is maintaining some sort of momentum. And he's going to continue to gain territory. And it's going to be hard to get him to the negotiation table. And I think that might be true. But Putin doesn't want to negotiate. According to the Wall Street Journal yesterday, that's what Trump said to some of the Europeans in closed doors, that Trump realizes, or he heard from Putin, or he understands that Putin does not want to negotiate. And
that's shocking.
Some kind of, yeah.
Let me call the New York Times. Putin, who invaded Ukraine, has killed millions of people, unwilling to negotiate. Wow. Just shocking news, right? Yeah. Amazing. Insight.
You're right. None of this is shocking. None of this is new. But Little Marco shoots back that, quote, when Vladimir Putin woke up this morning, he had the same set of sanctions on him that he's always had since the beginning of this conflict. And Ukraine was still getting armament shipments from the U.S. and from our allies. Okay. So what? Those sanctions have not worked at all.
Hey, I'm gonna think up and craft a weaker statement than that.
Okay.
Oh wait, I can't. Sorry, I give it my best shot.
Oh, now we're going to get viewer comments that you're no more jokes.
I didn't use a voice. I didn't
no
use
more
a
sarcasm.
voice.
You should have used a voice. You might as well double down on that.
I can't
Look,
think of anything weaker and abdication of any vestige of leadership than that. You win first place.
Yeah. It is nice that the U.S. is still giving them intelligence, and they're giving them a huge shipment of Patriot Iris-T missiles. So they're still getting some arms from the U.S. So the second part of his statement is true and optimistic, but the part about the sanctions, come on, if that's what he's resting on, the sanctions, that's pretty ridiculous.
For sure.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Cataloged this for years about how easy it is to beat sanctions. Of course it puts pressure on them. Of course they don't get what they want when they want it. Of course it's inflationary. But when Kazakhstan's imports, increased tenfold since the war, it's not because Kazakhstan's the Switzerland of that part of the world. It's because they're funneling it directly to Russia. Hard to make sanctions stick. They work slowly, gradually, over many years. How well are you actually implementing them? Can you drive a truck through the holes you have in it? Complicated issue.
Yeah. The U.S. has to be a part of any heavy sanctions.
Sure.
I mean, or it's just not going to work. And then
sure.
How are we going to sanction India? How are we going to sanction China? I mean, we just can't, like you said, we can't stem the flow. You can't stem the flow.
Stuff's going to get through.
Everything's going to get through.
There's the gray economy. Not the official economy, not the black market, the gray economy, where they use legal mechanisms to do illegal trading. It's hundreds of billions of dollars get transferred to the gray market to mischaracterize, misvalue trade, and that's what Russia does. And they use middlemen, and it's virtually impossible to do an airtight. Right, sanction airtight, sanctions at work to shut something completely off. Today's world, that might be close to impossible.
Yeah, it is impossible. Let's shift gears a little bit. There was an article in the Sunday edition of the New York Times that I thought was a little disturbing, and I want to read part of it. The title is "Russian Soldiers Want to Press On, Lest All the Sacrifices Be in Vain."
Oh, like Vietnam? Like Afghanistan?
Well, these guys want to press on. That's the whole point of this, is that they want to continue to fight, even though they know that, only 10% of them are going to come back alive. Here's a quote. So from the article, it says, a survey conducted in Russia in mid-April by an independent polling company, Chronicles, found that nearly half of the respondents said they would not support a peace deal that falls short of these initial goals. End quote. Those initial goals being protect Russian speakers, denazify, demilitarize Ukraine, and then achieve the 4 oblasts. So, basically the maximalist goals of Putin
Russian
from the beginning of the war.
Propaganda 101.
Right. So I thought, I'll put this article in the show notes, but I thought that was very disturbing. What do you think about that? The Russian soldiers who are getting decimated, actually inversely decimated, right? Because 90% of them are getting whacked. So it's the direct inverse of decimation. It's much worse. They're getting killed, but they still want to keep fighting. I thought that was disturbing.
But that's not uncommon in military circles and throughout military history. In the business world, they call this the sunk cost fallacy. We've invested so much in it, in a failing project, we got to keep investing more, or all that was for naught, when the actual real mathematical answer is you cut your losses now. you don't keep putting it into the black hole. You're never getting it back. You cut costs now, but a certain thought process, oh, well, we put so much into it, well, we got to keep putting into it. You had certain elements of the U.S. military didn't want to stop the war on terrorism of how it was orchestrated, right? The three different 5,000 man elements in Africa and Afghanistan and Iraq regions. We were going to do that in perpetuity. It was life is counterterrorism. Like that's what you do. You had elements, that had that momentum. They don't want to stop that. That's what we need to do. And you try to tell them to stop it, or you do stop it. Now you get pushed back. Look at France and Algeria, where you had like their airborne units and the French Foreign Legion fighting Algeria. And when de Gaulle's like, hey, we're pulling out, Algeria's going to be independent. And you had a mutiny on his hands of military forces who are so vested in fighting and doing counterinsurgency in Algeria and keeping Algeria part of France. They tried to whack them like, I think, almost 20 times. Watch the movie Day of the Jackal. Great movie by Frederick Forsyth, talking about the Secret Army Organization, or OAS, this French paramilitary terrorist organization who tried to kill de Gaulle because he wanted to pull out Algeria. It's not uncommon for the military and certain elements to get this momentum. I'm like, no. We put so much into this. I've served here. I've lost people here. We're never going to pull out. We're never going to stop our investment. That's out there. So that's not shocking that you have Russians thinking that, where like, hey, I got 1 million friends blown up, dismembered, dead. We're not giving this up. Okay.
So it's a very Clausewitzian principle you have to break the will of the population that you're fighting against. That's the core, the core way to defeat your enemy. But the will of the population and the will of the guys fighting in the trenches, those are two different things, right? So if you might be able to break the will of the population, but the guys that are fighting may continue to fight, or vice versa.
Sure.
Because when was it, 1918? It was the exact opposite with the Russians. They broke the will of the guys fighting in the trenches. So they came back home, the revolution. So
something like this, it's a matter of time. This war is often a math equation too. Okay, we're in year 4. Grind it out for another year. Take 1,000 casualties a day. Lose every armored piece of equipment within 25 clicks of the flot. Do that for a couple more years, and I guess we'll see if it is worth it to the Russians anymore, and their sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, when I was speaking with Candace a couple of days ago, on that interview that we'll post Monday, we were talking about the Afghan War, 1979 to 1989, the Soviet-Afghan War. And she pointed out, look, they didn't really start getting going until 1972. And that's when the war really started getting hot.
72 or 82?
82, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Started in 1979, but it didn't get heated until 1972. And so it was 7 more years until there was enough pressure on the Soviet, the Gorbachev government to pull out of Afghanistan. So she was making the analogy that, look, we may be just halfway through this war if you take a direct comparison to the Soviet-Afghan War in the 80s. I thought that was interesting. This article is very disheartening to me to think that the Russians are that stupid. The average Russian soldiers are that stupid that they want to keep fighting for whatever Putin said they're fighting for, right? Special military operation. They're going to keep fighting for that. That is disturbing, disheartening, and depressing, because that is another indicator that, this war is going to continue for a while.
Some would say that shows you what little the Putin regime and the ruling class in Russia has to offer their country. You have nothing better to offer than an expansionist war to distract the populace from the fact that your educational system's going to shit, economy's going to shit, population is declining. You're trying to pay women to have kids. You're not the center of anything technologically. You are Xi Jinping's puppet on the world stage because they actually have an economy, and that's what pulls weight in the international order. Now, Russia, you have nothing to offer. You've had nothing to offer for a long time except a large military. And now you've played your last hand as a military hand because you have no soft power. Russia has no soft power. Their soft power in Africa, if you want to call it that, is really riding the corruption train. They reinforce corruption to steal their natural resources like gold, famously, to enrich the Russian oligarchy. What does Russia stand for? What does Russia have to offer anyone other than trying to conquer them? What? Tell me. I want to know.
Yeah.
They have nothing. This is their last gambit to make Russia great again, and it's circling down the drain as we speak, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think if you are an authoritarian or a dictator in some foreign country, people like Wagner and Russia have a lot to offer you. You have a lot to gain by aligning with Russia. But if you're a Russian, in the stands, you have nothing to gain. You have nothing to gain to this. You're just it's just ridiculous for Russians in Russians in the trenches, Russians on the stands, Russians in St. Petersburg that don't give a shit at all about this war. Just ridiculous. But for Putin, it seems to be working. It seems to be working. Whatever he's doing, he's going to keep on doing it. Why would he negotiate? Why would he stop the war now? These morons are going to keep riding their motorcycles to their death. Why stop? Why do you need tanks?
Because it's his regime's survival at stake. That's what's at stake for him. It's nothing about the overall country. It's him personally and his cronies. Now, the war has slowed down on the fly. I was looking at the casualties in the last 24 hours, 890. When have we seen casualties below 1,000?
Yeah,
890. Would the war stop?
That is a local minimum, I think. I don't know if we've been below that.
Not for a long time.
Years.
We were hovering around 1,300, 1,200, sometimes 1,100. This dip into the large 800s. That means their offensive has slowed down. And you look at the number of armored vehicles lost, they're just small. It's just small, paltry numbers. There's not much left to lose anymore. And also I had heard an article about Russians moving towards non-armored vehicle MTOs. The military table of organization and equipment.
Yeah,
got that right. The Army just acronyms everything, and over time you forget what it even meant. What the words meant. It just meant how your equipment's laid out. That they're designing infantry MTO with no armored vehicles. It's Chinese golf carts and motorcycles. Is their MTO?
Yeah.
Like we don't have armored vehicles anymore. That's like in the history books.
Yeah, that's interesting because we think that, it's just the Russians, they're idiots, they're assaulting. But lo and behold, the Ukrainians are also doing their own motorcycle regiment. According to this Twitter post from Military News UA, the Armed Forces of Ukraine has created the first assault motorcycle company. I'm going to play the video right now. I'm going to try to share my screen and play this video. Let me see if I can do it. Okay, you see that?
I see it.
I'm going to make it big and I'm going to play it. So it's in high def, these guys. Oh, they're popping wheelies. That's pretty impressive.
They're a bunch of guys who, you can see a lot of them, never rode a motorcycle in their life.
No, these guys have never ridden a motorcycle. They don't know what they're doing. They've definitely never ridden a motorcycle with a dude on the back trying to shoot a gun, or what are they going to do on the back of a motorcycle?
This is like Sicario. This is in like Mexico City, whacking another cartel member sitting at a bus stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how long do you think those guys, the Israelis that drive through the streets of Tehran and put a magnetic explosion device on somebody's car? We always seen assassins riding two at a time on a motorcycle like that, where one can just steer and drive, and the other one just shoots and put. How long do you think that they train for that? They probably train a long time.
I would, if you want to live, you want to do it and
Yeah.
live. I'd be doing it a couple of times till I got it down.
Yeah.
Right. But it shows you Ukraine has the same problems. Their equipment's getting whacked by drones too. Yeah, they've got problems too.
And they think that, it's the new paradigm that speed is the new protection.
Right.
Speed is the new protection. So these guys, they know that if they're going 30 miles an hour in a Bradley or an MRAP or a tank, they know that they're toast. They're just going to die because you can't defeat the FPV drone, especially the fiber optic FPV drone. And they know they're dead. So how are you going to get on the objective? Your best bet is to go as fast as you can. And how fast do you think these guys are going?
If you got a dirt road, you do 50, 60, 70.
This guy's Hollywooding with his AK-47 off the back, shooting off the side. Dude, you're not hitting anything. You're lucky to even hit the ground. You're probably shooting right in the air.
Look at these guys are using shorty AKs, shortened barrels. AKs not known for being a real accurate weapon to get in with. They have no optics on it. They're shooting over iron open sights. This is a cool video for someone who's never done this before. This doesn't give me much confidence looking at this.
This is total propaganda video. But it is interesting to note that, the Ukrainians are doing the same thing.
Right.
The Ukrainians are now doing the same exact thing. Getting back, before we do a couple more videos to wrap this up, I wanted to read this post. It's a Twitter post, but I wanted to read this. And it is from this guy, Alexander Sherba, is the guy that posted it, but the guy that actually said it, sorry, let me see if I can see the guy who said it. I think it's Saïd Ismagilov. His account, his hashtag is Russian Army. Anyways, this post says that he's been fighting in Ukraine for the last 3 years. And I'll find his name and I'll post this in the show notes. But I wanted to read this, and I will share my screen, and we will look at this, and I will just read it for the listeners. Okay. So it says, quote, "This society is a swarm of locusts. Their purpose is to push forward no matter what, seizing new territories. Every day in Vovchansk, they advance in small groups of 3 to 5, climbing over the corpses of those who, hours earlier, stormed the same position. No nonsense, no reason, no success, just piling bodies against us." Then he goes on a little bit farther. He goes, which I think is interesting. He goes on to say, quote, "You came to kill our children to raise yours? Silence, eyes down. But that's the reality. They'd calmly kill us and our children, take our homes, sleep in our bed, even wear our clothes. They don't see it as repulsive or wrong. Their authorities gave them permission, so it's fine. Without hesitation, they'd wear your dress and eat from your plate because their czar and church blessed it." And he goes
Sounds
on.
accurate.
Yeah. So basically, he's saying that there's no morality, no ethical issues with what the Russians do. Also, he's saying that the Russians wear dresses. The Russian infantry likes to try on dresses.
I don't know what that
wear
means.
it around.
Okay.
They like to wear women's clothing. which I find interesting.
So the answer to the takeaway from that is more. How many more casualties do you have to cause? More. If you haven't stopped them yet, more. And we've made that observation before that Ukraine needs to get better at killing infantry, mopping them up, multiple casualties per run. One drone per one Russian soldier doesn't get any more. I want 5 Russians per drone. But it's a problem to be solved.
I think they're working on it.
They are working on it.
They want to kill as many Russians, obviously. Okay, here's a tweet about, this is from the Defense of Ukraine official website. And it talks about the M1s that are moving. And it says, this is ridiculous, but it says M1s, this is from the Ukrainians, the MOD of Ukraine. Quote, M1 Abrams moves like a sniper rifle with armor. Laser rangefinders, thermal sights up to 4 kilometers strike range. It crushes the enemy. And with added dynamic armor and FPV protection, it's more lethal than ever. What? I believe all the 13 or 12 or 13 Abrams tank that we gave Ukraine, they're now rusting. They're now all orange and rusting because they've been blown up.
Now, I think the Abrams is a very good tank. It's better than anything Russia has. And they're probably marveling a little bit how better it is than the complete, utter piece of shit T-72s and T-64s that's driving around. Nothing beats a drone. The best tank in the world is a drone magnet. Yes, it's magnificent. I can hit something. Oh my God, did the fake voice again. I can hit something 5 clicks out. It doesn't matter. The flock goes out 25 clicks. Abrams is a great tank, 100% technologically advanced. I love it. Yes. Worthless drone magnet on the modern battlefield. Yet I think the U.S. denies that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many ways to die. Here's a video of drones, and I'm going to share the screen. We'll put this up on the screen right now. Here's a video of, the funny title is Weather Forecast for Invaders. Heavy precipitation of anti-tank mines. Hilarious. Let's watch this. It's just drones dropping TM62 anti-tank mines.
Those into crazy
holes.
Drones.
Boom.
Crazy drone operators.
Huge explosions. Look at that. They're just throw the
right
mine.
In there.
Boom. There are thousands and thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of these TM62 landmines in Ukraine.
Cheap.
They're everywhere. You just pick them up off the ground. Literally picking them off the ground. You got to be careful, but they're literally picking them off the ground. So that means you have basically an endless supply of drone munitions.
Endless.
And these morons, these Russian morons in these bunkers, hey, why can't you just close the
you need
the hatch.
Yeah, you need
Shut
some
the
kind
door.
of outer
Put
covering.
something over. Yeah, you can't
have
leave the
just
door
an open thing and think a drone's coming in.
Yeah, these guys are morons.
But
they're all morons.
Those are some nice explosions. Those are some nice effects they're getting for nothing. If they got them in some old warehouse that they forgot about for 40 years, it's cost them nothing. Good return on their investment.
Yeah. Just completely stupid. By now, they should know. They should know how not to get a landmine dropped in a bunker.
You want to talk about their door? 100% they should know. You want to talk about their tanks and armored vehicles? Every fucking hatch is left open every time. Every fucking hatch. Oh, if they lose a tank tread, let's open every hatch. And then they come in and drop a 5-cent hand grenade in there and set the whole thing on fire. It's like they want to get their stuff blown up. They're probably like, if it's blown up, I don't have to go in it again.
Yeah. This
inexplicable behavior.
I don't think we have time to get to it. In Burma, there was the rebels hit hit an Mi-17 helicopter with an FPV drone. Not one of these weird Ukrainian videos that we've seen. I think this, as much as
Legit.
AI is creating these fake videos now that don't exist at all, this one seems legit. They took down a helicopter. Well, let's talk about that next week. I want to finish on this video. I want to finish on this video of this guy, this just stupid Russian. He's outside.
Is this the dude with the stick?
No. This guy is making a phone call, like a video call, outside at night near the front lines, and he's just talking to his friends.
Hey, Mom.
And every now and then, he hears the drone buzzing.
But I'm drunk. Who cares?
Yeah, but he's not going to stop. He's going to keep on talking on his phone. He's going to keep doing what he's doing. I'll minimize it so you can see a little bit better. And then, boom, the FPV drone just comes straight in and hits him. Just right here. Just flash everything in this guy's, toast.
What a meat rocket.
Dumb Russians doing dumb Russian things.
We used to call that light discipline, noise discipline. When you're on a combat patrol, you don't talk. You have no lights. You dig into the earth. It's just basic discipline. Yo, bro, you in St. Petersburg? Yeah, guess what? I'm in Pokrovsk. Anyways, yeah, the motorcycles are really cool. What was that? What? Yeah, do some drone, bro. You're drone bait.
They can see. It doesn't even matter about the noise and light discipline. Doesn't even matter as much because the drone has thermal. These FPV drones at night now have thermal. It's getting ubiquitous. Before, 3.5 years ago, the Ukrainian army didn't even have thermal scopes, sights.
You can buy them on eBay, buy them on Amazon, buy them on gunbroker.com, buy them anywhere.
Sure. Back, at the start of the war, they didn't even have the thermal scopes. Now, FPV drones have thermals. They can see you better at night than they can in the day. So for this guy, the key was to not be outside, talking on your phone like nothing's wrong, like you're a big tough guy.
Tourist.
Big tough guy.
Almost
Russian.
like he's completely untrained. He's some idiot from Siberia, broke as shit, needed
Probably
a couple
drunk.
bucks.
Drunk on cough syrup. Or,
or
rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, drained the brake fluid from his tank and boiled it down and whatever. Parents will get a Lada. Son's whacked. Parents will get a $15,000 piece of shit Lada. Call it a day.
Hey, they don't care. Stupid Russians. But it is circling back on Russian soldiers want to press on. Wow. Idiots like this. Now I see why. These guys are morons. They think that 1 in 10 chance that they're actually going to make it out of this war with their $40,000 bonus and pay. If they do live, the Russians aren't going to pay them. The Russian government's not going to pay them anything. So,
that's how you save more money. Once these guys get back, you stiff them. Just good economics. No. These powerless dudes out in Siberia in the middle of this, stiff them, dude. What are they going to do? They can't even afford a train to go to Moscow to complain.
Yeah, and if they die, everybody's MIA. So show me the body. If your son's dead, show me the body. Anyways.
Yeah, prove his identity.
I guess that's kind of a happy note. I guess we can end on a happy note.
That's a very happy note.
For
very happy note.
War Weave Friday. War Weave Friday. We've weaved a lot. If you like the Flash Traffic podcast, please forward the link to whoever you think might want to watch this or listen to us go on and on about Russia.
I think your grandparents should listen to this.
And bombs.
Yeah, right. Grandparents, parents. Yeah, they probably want to listen to this.
Sure. Our top demographic is 79 to 89-year-olds. So we need to start getting this pumped in Italy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Old Italians love the Flash Traffic podcast. Okay. Hey, again, we will have a pre-recorded podcast on Monday. My interview with Candace Rondeau.
Nice. Listen to it. It's good.
Putin's sledgehammer. You don't know. You haven't even heard it yet.
Dude, hey, bro.
Okay.
You got a PhD. You know what you're doing. You do good work. That's how I
Are
know
you
it's good.
are you trying to get in all your bros at the very end contractually? Have a good day. Bye-bye.
The Flash Traffic Podcast.